Welcome to Daily Scripture Reading. I do not own the rights to this music. Genesis chapter 31. This is the Amplified Version. Jacob leaves secretly for Canaan. Jacob heard that Laban's sons were saying, "Jacob has taken away everything that was our father's, and from what belonged to our father, he has acquired all this wealth and honor." Jacob noticed a change in the attitude of Laban and saw that it was not friendly toward him as before. Then the Lord said to Jacob, "Return to the land of your fathers and to your people, and I will be with you." So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to his flock in the field, and he said to them, "I see a change in your father's attitude, that he is not friendly toward me as he was before. But the God of my father Isaac has been with me. You know that I have served your father with all my strength, yet your father has cheated me as often as possible and changed my wages 10 times, but God did not allow him to hurt me. If he said, 'The speckled shall be your wages,' then the entire flock gave birth to speckled young. And if he said, 'The streaked shall be your wages,' then the entire flock gave birth to streaked young. Thus God has taken away the flocks of your father and given them to me. And it happened at the time when the flock conceived that I looked up and saw in a dream that the rams which mated with the female goats were streaked, speckled, and spotted. And the angel of God said to me in the dream, 'Jacob.' And I said, 'Here I am.' He said, 'Look up and see, all the rams which are mating with the flock are streaked, speckled, and spotted. For I have seen all that Laban has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed the pillar and where you made a vow to me. Now stand up, leave this land, and return to the land of your birth.' Rachel and Leah answered him, 'Is there still any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not counted by him as foreigners? For he sold us to you in marriage and has also entirely used up our purchase price. Surely all the riches which God has taken from our father are ours and our children's. Now then, whatever God has told you to do, do it.' Then Jacob stood and took action, and put his children and his wives on camels. And he drove away all his livestock, and took along all his property which he had acquired. The livestock he had obtained and accumulated in Padan Aram, to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. When Laban had gone to shear his sheep, Rachel went inside the house, and stole her father's household gods. And Jacob deceived Laban the Aramean Syrian by not telling him that he intended to leave, and he slipped away secretly. So he fled with everything that he had, and got up and crossed the river Euphrates, and set his face toward the hill country of Gilead, east of the Jordan River. Laban pursues Jacob. On the third day after his departure, Laban was told that Jacob had fled. So he took his relatives with him and pursued him for 7 days, and they overtook him in the hill country of Gilead. God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream at night, and said to him, "Be careful that you do not speak to Jacob, either good or bad." Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent on the hill, and Laban with his relatives camped on the same hill of Gilead. Then Laban said to Jacob, "What do you mean by deceiving me and leaving without my knowledge, and carrying off my daughters as if they were captives of the sword? Why did you run away secretly and deceive me and not tell me, so that otherwise I might have sent you away with joy and with songs, with music on the tambourine and lyre? And why did you not allow me to kiss my grandchildren and my daughters goodbye? Now you have done a foolish thing in behaving like this. It is in my power to harm you. But the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, 'Be careful not to speak to Jacob, either good or bad.' Now I suppose you felt you must go, because you were homesick for your father's house and family. But why did you steal my household gods?" Jacob answered Laban, I left secretly because I was afraid, for I thought you would take your daughters away from me by force. The one with whom you find your gods shall not live. In the presence of our relatives, search my possessions, and point out whatever you find that belongs to you, and take it. For Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen the idols. So Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent, and the tent of the two maids, but he did not find them. Then he came out of Leah's tent and entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household idols and put them in the camel's saddlebag and sat on them. Laban searched through all her tent, but did not find them. So Rachel said to her father, "Do not be displeased, my lord, that I cannot rise before you, for the manner of women is on me, and I am unwell." He searched further, but did not find the household gods. Then Jacob became angry and argued with Laban, and he said to Laban, "What is my fault? What is my sin that you pursued me like this? Although you have searched through all my possessions, what have you found of your household goods? Put it here before my relatives and your relatives, so that they may decide who has done right between the two of us. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not lost their young, nor have I eaten the rams of your flocks. I did not bring you the torn carcasses of the animals attacked by predators. I personally took the loss. You required of me to make good everything that was stolen, whether it occurred by day or night. This was my situation. By day the heat consumed me, and by night the cold, and could not sleep. These 20 years I have been in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for my share of your flocks, and you have changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the feared one of Isaac, had not been with me, most certainly you would have sent me away now empty-handed. God has seen my affliction and humiliation, and the exhausting labor of my hands. So he rendered judgment and rebuked you last night." The covenant of Mizpah. Laban answered Jacob, "These women that you married are my daughters. These children are my grandchildren. These flocks are from my flocks, and all that you see here is mine. But what can I do today to these my daughters, or to their children to whom they have given birth? So come now, let us make a covenant, you and I, and let it serve as a witness between you and me." So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a memorial pillar. Jacob said to his relatives, "Gather stones." And they took stones and made a mound of stones, and they ate a ceremonial meal together there on the mound of stones. Laban called it Lagar Sahad Utha, stone monument of testimony in Aramic, but Jacob called it Gilead. Laban said, "This mound of stones is a witness, a reminder of the oath taken today between you and me." Therefore he also called the name Gilead, and Mizpah watchtower, for Laban said, "May the Lord watch between you and me when we are absent from one another. If you should mistreat, humiliate, oppress my daughters, or if you should take other wives besides my daughters, although no one is with us as a witness, see and remember, God is witness between you and me." Laban said to Jacob, "Look at this mound of stones, and look at this pillar which I have set up between you and me. This mound is a witness, and this pillar is a witness, that I will not pass by this mound to harm you, and that you will not pass by this mound and this pillar to harm me. The God of Abraham your father, and the God of Nahor my father, and the God, the image of worship of their father, Terah, an idolater, judge between us." But Jacob swore only by the one true God, the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered a sacrifice to the Lord on the mountain, and called his relatives to the meal. And they ate food and spent the night on the mountain. Early in the morning, Laban got up and kissed his grandchildren and his daughters goodbye, and pronounced a blessing, asking God's favor on them. Then Laban left and returned home. The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.